Hey everyone, my name is Kaikun6 and I'm here to do another episode of Playlist Stories. I've been wanting to make this episode for a little bit, to be honest, because I had like all these other songs that I had lined up for myself where I wanted to talk about and like which memory it was attached to and stuff like that, but for some reason I just could not get this one out of my head. For some reason I felt like it's not really like important or whatever, but for some reason it just would not leave my head. So I'm going to explain that, and hopefully you guys are gonna follow along and stuff like that. So yeah, so as you can see the title, Snow Hey Yo by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think I first heard this back when I was like, I don't remember, I know it was in high school, but I just don't remember when exactly. I just remembered like they finally like released the song somewhere on the radio, and then now like everybody in the school started listening to it, especially with this person that I'm going to be talking about. And it's just really weird. It was like one of those things where, you know, I would sit down, just play music all day, just writing, or just in general, just me doing some stuff around the house or whatnot, and then all of a sudden this song pops up, and then it just made me think of like a school staff member, which is so weird. I don't know. I usually never think about these school staff members or teachers or anything like that from when I was in school, you know, but for some reason this one just stuck to me for like years and years and stuff. So, and once in a while it's like I forget, and then I remember because of the song, and so I felt like, you know what, I'm just gonna explain it, because there was another memory and another song that I wanted to talk about. It was like something that like my friend Ace and I talked about before, and it has something to do with my dad. And so I was like, you know what, I need to talk about that later. And then I went through like because like what I do now is like I write down the actual like title and like the explanation of like kind of like a summary of like these songs that I listen to and like what kind of memories are attached to it. And I thought I did explain this at some point, and then I realized no, I never explained it. So it has been one of them days. I felt like I have explained it and then I haven't, and then I guess it just gets lost in time. So yeah. So, but other than that, I had just been very busy, and I just didn't know what I was going to do it for this week's episode or not, but I just decided, you know what, the heck with it. It's just going to be probably a short video of me explaining this song, and then I'm going to ramble on to, like, what's been going on with me for like, the past few days for myself. So then, yeah, because, like, I am actually officially drained. Like, I don't have, my social battery is drained, basically. I have, like, literally no energy. And all I have energy now is just to like recuperate and just, you know, just basically be in my own little bubble, start listening to music, writing, which I have done, and then I'm gonna do that right after I'm done recording this video. So yeah, so this song, high school teacher that turned into a vice principal, actually, like, it's just interesting to talk about. So let me start from the beginning. So just like anybody that has been to like a high school, especially over there in Ontario, California, which is Ontario High School, which I graduated from, I had a teacher that maybe I should use his real name. I'm not sure. I don't think he's gonna watch my videos, or maybe somebody might remember him, but hopefully you guys don't mention him or something like that. But yeah, there was a teacher that turned into a vice principal of discipline, I believe. And but yeah, I'll explain that in a little bit. So what happened was, just like most people, like most of my friends from California that has attended Ontario High School and or graduated from, they might have had like this teacher before, and his name is Mr. Nieves, and he's like, I don't know, he was like one of the most coolest teachers I ever met, especially for my senior year in high school. I felt like the other teachers that I had previous to my senior year was like, they were all right. They were kind of like stressed out with their lives, or they're just like trying to figure out what's going on. and they didn't know how to teach or something. I don't know. It was just a very strange time. So this particular teacher that turned into a vice principal, he he was like a very interesting person. Like, I had him for economics, I think, for one semester, I believe. I was supposed to have a different type of teacher, but I just didn't remember what happened. I think it was like schedule conflicts with other students or something. I don't remember. But anyway, I ended up attending like his economic class. I just don't remember which period it was or whatnot. It was just like a normal day for myself when I first got to this class. And then like he talked about, you know, his love for music, especially for Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I have an older brother with the nickname Luigi, and he loves Red Hot Chili Peppers from what I remembered when I was a kid, but he never listened to it as much as like I do now. I feel like I'm like the only one in my family that ever listens to a lot of rock stuff, or like very old, you know, kind of like what millennials and Gen Xers listen to. Maybe a little bit of above that and stuff like that, but I just remember like myself and like a lot of millennials and maybe Gen Xers were listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers for years, and then like they love the band and stuff like that. And so whenever they released like new albums or even singles, a lot of people were just like, you know, like obsessed. They're like, oh my god, they're gonna release a new song, we need to listen to it. And so yeah, so Mr. Nieves was like that. So when he found out that like this song was released in the radio or something like that, he replayed that song over and over again. And I was like, I love this dude, because like I felt like I knew I was gonna love that song too. And so he played it, I don't know how many times in a week whenever it showed up on the radio. And then when it stopped playing on the radio because of like due to other songs or other you know, musicians that were coming out and they were releasing like new tracks and this and that, he decided to play like he actually bought the album, you know, that song came in. I wish I knew the name of the album, to be honest. I thought I hadn't written down somewhere, but I don't. So I'm sorry for the people that actually do love Red Hot Chili Peppers and they're like huge fans and they know the names of the albums. But that song, where that song originally came from, like he bought that album, and then he ended up like playing the full album in the classroom, like on repeat over and over again. And of course a lot of students were kind of annoyed at that point, but for some reason for me, I was like, I'm not. I was like, I only at that time I only ever liked maybe like a couple songs from them, and now it's like probably the full entire album is like my favorite album to listen to. And so so he basically like explained like he really loves Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's like his favorite band of all time, and like whenever new music releases from that band, he has to hear it like immediately. And I'm just like, wow, he is an actual like, you know, diehard fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then so as time went by, we really got to know the teacher, you know, because like back then, I'm not sure about now since I haven't been in school for a while, but back at the time, like there was teachers that just wanted to establish like friendships with the students, just in case, like, you know, if something happens, you know, like maybe they'll be able to help them, give them advice or something. But of course, not crossing any boundaries like that, you know what I mean? But it was just kind of like, you know, like I'm a reliable adult in case if like, you know, the students ever went through abuse or something like that, they would help out. And so his way of doing that was to like, you know, connect with students through music. And so he would like, you know, at least once a week, he'll like ask a random student to play certain like music if they like it. And of course the majority of those students in my classroom at that time were like into hip-hop and rap, and of course he was not really into it unless it was like his generation of like hip-hop and rap and stuff. And so for like my music taste, like when it came to my turn for the week, I immediately blurted out like Limp Bizkit, and everybody just looked at me like weird. They were like, wait, what? Like, this girl actually listens to Limp Bizkit? I was like, yeah, like they're my favorite band of all time, and they still are. And like my brother was the one who introduced it to me, and so he was kind of like, I've never ever heard of Limp Bizkit, like who are they? And I was just like, what the fuck, you're like a Gen Xer, you know, like you're a Gen Xer and you should know them and this and that. Because like my brother is not a Gen Xer, like he's like an older millennial, you know, because he was born in 1981, and so he knew a lot of like Gen Xers and like a lot of millennials just like him and myself and my sister that just enjoyed listening to Limp Bizkit. And so so he was just like, I want to try them out. And so at that time, I think like he researched on his iPod or something. I don't remember, because I remember he held a device in his hand, and I think it was an iPod. I'm not sure what it was. I don't know if it was like a classic or a video or something. I don't know. But he held it in his hand. It was like a pretty big chunk of like metal, right? And so he had this iPod device thing connected to like the TV or the surround system that was in his classroom at the time. And then like I don't remember if like any of my classmates at the time enjoyed the song, but I just remember just enjoying him playing Limp Bizkit in the classroom. And so he was very kind of like, you know, like suspicious and stuff like that. I don't know, it was just so funny. And so he was like, no, I don't believe that you actually listened to this. And so I remembered I pulled out my own iPod at the time, and I think it was the video, I think, at the time. But then I felt like, no, I ended up getting the classic not that long after. And so I think I took out my classic, and I told him like, you should look at my history for on there. And so he looked at it and he was just like, oh, that's strange. You listen to like Limp Bizkit and Korn, Slipknot, and Marilyn Manson, and then Eminem, excuse me. I don't know what's going on with my throat, but I have water with me just in case if I need to rehydrate. So yeah, so he was just like, I didn't believe it. And so like I ended up just telling him like I just love their music and stuff like that. And so he was just like, okay. And so he kind of gave it a listen after a while, and it was just so funny because he said like his assignment was like, I'm gonna go listen to this band from that weekend and then just talk to me, I guess, on that following Monday, because that was what he did. So he like, when I first showed up to the classroom, and I was like one of the first few students to show up, he was talking to me about how the previous albums that he's listened to, he was just like, this is way different than the one that I just listened to. And I just said, what do you mean? So then he said like, well, I researched Limp Bizkit and I was trying to look for it online, and then so they had these albums, and I was just like, yeah, that's correct. And so he was like, okay, well then can you tell me what's your favorite album? And I told him Results May Vary. That's always going to be my favorite album, no matter what. And so he was like, okay, like then I think I got the right one. And I was just like, what do you mean? Sorry, I'm just playing with my hair right now. It's a disaster of a day for all this frizziness for my hair. So he was like saying like, is there a certain song on there that I really liked? And I said, there's the whole album is my favorite one. And he's like, really? But still, what is your favorite song from them? And then so I told him that it was Build a Bridge. And I remember I had an idea for a tattoo one day where I wanted to write down the title of it like on my wrists or something. And I wanted to have like finger tattoos at some point, and then I wanted to like write it down right here where it's like says Limp Bizkit, and just, you know, kind of like that. And so the teacher was just like, okay, that's really strange. But anyway, but yeah, I was listening to the $3 Bill Y'all album and this and that. So it was just funny like how he said it, and I was just like, yeah, I know, it's very like, it's exactly what you expect from a starting band during that time and this and that. And he's just like, no, I actually like this album. And I was like, oh, really? That's weird. A lot of people don't like that album that much, even though that is like one of the most popular albums that they have. And so he was like, God, we're kind of like bonding with each other when it comes to Limp Bizkit. And then when he got to like Results May Vary, I told him like how passionate I was to listening to this album. And so he was just like, oh, okay. And then so he, not that long after, he did the same thing with me when it came to like Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I just remember like him and I just talking about it for like almost an entire week about it, and how passionate he was to listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I was just like, I understand. So anyway, so not that long after, I don't remember what happened. I just remembered it was kind of like a flip of a switch. I just remember showing up that week for school, where I think we were done with finals, I believe. I don't remember. But anyway, they were announcing in the like kind of like with the intercom and stuff like that, saying that, they were trying to hire a new type of vice principal, They're trying to see if they could like separate like roles of like this one certain vice principal into like 4 or 5 other branches. Like one, it was going to be for discipline, I think one for attendance, and I don't remember the other 2 or 3 that were right there, but I just remember like clearly in the intercom they were announcing that, and I just remember like seeing Mr. Nieves' face lit up, because he was just like, I have been wanting to get that type of job for so long, and I'm gonna apply for it. What do you kids think? And then so he decided, you know what, go for it, right? And so so we encouraged him to go for it, and then I think a week later he ended up getting the job. Like they actually announced it for his during the announcement, I think, and like supposedly he was saying, this is going to be my last week of teaching, because I'm going to be a vice principal for of attendance, I think that it was, no, discipline, sorry, it was for discipline. And so everybody was just like, what, I can't believe you actually got it, and this and that. And so a lot of people were kind of like, oh, we're going to miss you when you teach us, this and that. So I didn't remember the name of the teacher that replaced him at the time, but I think it was a substitute teacher anyway. So, and just not to say like, oh, I don't remember substitute teachers' names or something. I really didn't remember this person's name. I just remember the face, and I just knew it was a guy, and that's it. And so, not that long after, he started kind of like being a douchebag, and that's the only nicest way I can say it. Like, he was just not a really nice person after that. I felt like the role of him being a vice principal of discipline really went to his head. Like his ego went so high. And a lot of students have noticed, especially the ones that has had him in classes before. And so he basically became a douchebag. Like, he was like actually punishing students for being late to class or being late to school, this and that. It was just like, it got ridiculous. It got to the point where parents started talking shit about him and stuff like that. And then when it came to PTA meetings and stuff like that, a lot of concerned parents did not like him at all. Whereas other parents, they were like, we just wanted to see if he can straighten out my kids because they were out of control, this and that. And at that time, I guess CPS wasn't a big deal. I do not know. I was like, I wish I knew what was these people's lives, but in reality, you were only concerned with yourself. So whenever CPS did got involved, Mr. Nieves was there to like talk to them about, like what happened, kind of like ease off, like not getting them involved anymore and this and that. I don't know. It was just a strange time. I just remembered, I think it was like any other day, it was after school, I was gonna go walk home with my friends instead of like having my mom pick me up from school and this and that. I just remembered Mr. Nieves was like going to his office, and I was just like, okay, well, I might as well just see where this goes. And then somehow he walked out of the proctor's office, which was like right next to that. The proctor's office, it was like between like the actual office where, if you have any concerns or something, you could talk to the secretaries in there or the nurses in there. And somehow that building connected to like the vice principal's offices and the principal and stuff like that. Administration building, I should say, probably that's what it was called. But anyway, and then right next to that was like the girls' restroom and stuff like that. So I just remember him walking out of there, and then like he was walking with like these two adults wherever they were just wearing like matching suits and stuff, and talked to them, and all I heard was like this, I wish I could remember that student's name, to be honest, but like they were talking about how this kid was actually out of control during school, and we don't know how to deal with this, and so we thought maybe we could call on you guys to see if there's a way you can handle it, because like we're not liable to, you know, just to take care of the situation here at school if it gets that worse. And then they kind of advised police, and I was like, oh, that became serious, because whenever police did got involved with the school, like it was just a really, really huge deal. And we didn't know the students' names or anything like that, but a lot of people knew who they were. Like, oh, I know who they're talking about and stuff like that. So yeah, it was like a very random moment there. That's all I could remember at the time. And then after that, like we just started seeing him less and less, because he was just stuck to his office. And if they didn't need him for anything, it was like rallies, other school events, and like probably like graduation and stuff like that. And so I remember like asking him at one point to see if he wanted to sign my yearbook, since he was my old teacher at the time. And I think he did sign it. I'm not sure. All my yearbooks is with my family. And so hopefully one day I'll be able to get those, and then probably like show off the yearbooks, I would say, because that'll be interesting. But yeah. So from there on, I just heard like rumors about him and stuff like that, how like these parents are still hating on him, whereas like a lot of these moms or dads, I should say, where they're kind of like indifferent with him, I would say. Like they're all they care about is like as long as their kid doesn't get called into his office or any of the offices, so that way they can get pulled off of work and then deal with the situation with their kids, this and that. Who knows? But I just remembered like I just cut off ties with like my old high school, because I was like, oh, well, I already graduated. There's no point in me staying here unless I have made previous friends, which I have. And you know, just to hang out with them and see like, you know, what is going on there. But no, I just decided like probably after like a year or so, I decided to cut it off. And then if I hear any events, it was like from my friends that have graduated from there. And I'd be like, yeah, cool, you know, but I'm not going or anything. And I'm like, well, I really can't go now because, you know, I'm stuck here in Texas and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, that was like a very interesting memory, because I was like, every single time I actually listened to the song, I was just like, why does this remind me of Mr. Nieves? And then I just remember like his passion for the band and this and that. And I'm just like, I knew somebody that had the same passion as him, even though he's I already know he's an adult, but at the time he was just only like a teenager, I believe. Like he met like us, or like my group of friends, through Jaws. And so I felt like, yeah, he's a very interesting person. And so once I got to know him, and like he's been with his girlfriend like who knows how many years now, and like I don't know, he was just talking about how he really, really loves Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I said, I know if this person was still a teacher, I would say you would get along with him that well. And so he was just like, well, I don't even belong to like Ontario High. I belong to, I don't remember what high school he was at the time, but he did got transferred one time to Ontario. And then I just don't remember after that. Like, I just felt like him and I just lost contact with each other because of Jaws and other people that were in the friend group. But yeah. So anyway, that is basically my chip for the memory I am going to talk about. I don't know what next week will be. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing like a shopping haul video, because right now I have like 2 totes, or I should say 2 storage containers that my husband has bought me at Costco. And they were like $7.99, since it was a good deal and stuff, and they're pretty big for what they are. And so what I wanted to do was like use them to store away like a lot of like crafting projects that I have finished. And so that way I'll be able to pull them out like sometime in the near future to like, you know, decorate around my home, and plus to make more space and all that stuff. So I hopefully I'll be able to do that soon, and then hopefully do another shopping haul video, because I haven't really been shopping that much and stuff like that, but I have been pretty busy with like going out and stuff like that. So this is gonna be the portion where I'm gonna probably ramble on, and hopefully this video doesn't get too long and stuff like that. So what happened was, I think I brought it up before. This is like a friend from my mother-in-law's. Her name is Minnie, and she's like a very sweet lady that basically just lives with herself. That's like about maybe 15-20 miles away from where I live. And she ended up in that situation due to like, you know, like her health problems and then her moving situation and stuff like that. But she recently like just had like all these surgeries and just injuries and stuff like that, and so she needed somebody to help her during this time, like probably going to appointments and basically kind of like, you know, needing company, because like she has been by herself for years, and a lot of her family is like away. They're like in New Jersey, Virginia, and some other states and stuff, while she has aunts that live in Oak Cliff, which is very, very interesting, and I'll talk about it right now in a little bit. But yeah, so she went to come and pick me up on Monday, and what happened was, on that day, like, she had sharpest of pain, I think in her left eye, I believe. Well, no, yeah, in her left eye, I believe. And then so she talked to the doctor about it, and so I was waiting for her for that. And then so we were kind of like, you know, bonding and stuff like that. And yeah, so we had a really nice experience, but she was still kind of like concerned about like, hopefully this pain doesn't go back, because she recently had like a cataract surgery, and like she noticed that one of them wasn't healing right, and it was gonna, like, the cataract was coming back, and so they had to reschedule her to see if they could like get laser removal for it, and hopefully it never grows back. And I was like, okay, cool. And then so just yesterday, that's why I didn't upload the video yesterday. I'm going to be uploading it today. As you can see, I went to go to an appointment with her. Well, the appointment for Monday was like somewhere between Richardson and Plano, like, because when you look at the Google Maps, like where this office is located at is like closer to Plano than Richardson, but I think it's still in the Richardson area. So anyway, this time it was going to be at Fair Park in Dallas. So we ended up going to that Baylor hospital for her, and what it was like a checkup for her kidney transplant that she had. I don't know how many months as of now. Like, it could have been last month or the month before. I don't know, remember. But she had a kidney transplant, and she was on dialysis for a little bit, and then so finally she somehow like recuperated from that, and then so she decided to need to do a checkup. It was like a 3 or 4 month checkup or something like that. So she ended up going, they got her vitals, this and that, and so we were really early in the morning for that one, and there was barely any people there, and so it was kind of nice. So we were kind of like bonding through that experience too. We were talking like each other. She brought like really funny moments like in her life and stuff like that, so just trying to get to know each other and stuff. And then by the time she was done with that appointment, she decided, like, she and I had like a little bit of a lunch / breakfast type of thing with coffee that the hospital provided for free. So it was really nice. And she ended up calling like all her aunts, or most of her aunts, I would say, that she wanted to come and visit. And I was just like, okay, cool, like I'm gonna have to meet her family, great, you know, like it's kind of like amazing. And I was really glad I met them, because they were the like, those women were like the most nicest women I have ever met. Like, they were so sweet. Like, I don't remember like their names entirely. Like, I don't want to like say their names, and like hopefully nobody knows them and stuff like that. But like, all I know is they lived in Oak Cliff. Like, we went from Dallas to Oak Cliff through like this road, and I got super scared because like I always heard rumors about Oak Cliff, especially from my mother-in-law, because she was born and raised there for a little bit, I believe, because she said, oh, I was born in Oak Cliff. Like, she always said, I was always conceived in Ohio, but I was born in Texas. And I was just like, oh, okay. And so this part of Oak Cliff that we were passing through felt like It wasn't even like that bad from what I remember. It was just the houses were so nice looking. Like, I was so surprised how beautiful their homes were when I went to go visit these wonderful women that are my friend Minnie's aunts. And so when we went through one by one, we went to like 4 of them. So I was surprised. And then when they were telling me like their ages and their lives and like what they did as a living, I was so shocked. I was just like, there is no way these women are in their 80s. You know what I mean? Like, because my friend Minnie, she just told me like, oh, I'm 68 years old and these are my aunts that used to had me on their hip taking care of me while, you know, like her parents were busy working or this and that, or they just wanted to babysit and stuff like that. I was like, I didn't believe it, but they were. I was just like, yeah, some of them, they're in the 70s or 80s, and I was like, wow, like I could not believe it, you know? And so yeah, so I got to meet them, and then like by the last aunt that we went to, she asked me, like, she's like, you must get my number because like we're a very like close-knit family. And since I got to know you, like, because they knew me through Minnie, you know, kind of like, you're like, oh yeah, did I guys told you about like my friend Jennifer, this and that. And so yeah. So then like and I don't blame them. Like, they were kind of skeptical at first, but after meeting me and like seeing how my mannerisms are, because I'm just like, hey, I'm in their home, and like they're mostly comfortable in their home, you know. And so just to have a stranger come to their house, and like, even though the stranger is very familiar to your family member, it's still strange, you know. And so like, it is nothing against anything like for race or something, but like these black women, because Minnie is black and her family are black, they exuded like alpha energy, like very, very powerful energy. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like they are wonderful, but wow, they were just intense, right? And so of course that led to like my social battery draining really fast. And so by the time we got to her last aunt, which is her Aunt Helen, she did ask for like, you need to get my phone number because I want to know any updates about my sister or my niece, to you know, to see if she's doing okay and stuff like that. You have to let us know. And I said, and I was about to ask them like, would you guys want a call or a text? And but before that, I just got distracted, and so Minnie was just like, we're gonna have to go. And then so we ended up leaving, and then she said, I'm gonna give you the phone numbers to my emergency contacts and my aunts, so that way, like, in case if I can't reach out to them, at least you can message them like updates while this is gonna go on. So I don't know if I talked about it before or not, but she's gonna have she was supposed to have a surgery for a hip replacement on the 31st of this month, but that got changed to August the 7th. And so I got enrolled in a program where I will be getting paid for helping her and stuff like that. And I just said that is fine. It's just like, I don't want it to take too much of my time. And so I kind of told her like I had plans for this upcoming weekend and for this upcoming week, and then like somewhere along the lines of like the second week of August. And I don't want to spoil that for you guys, but yeah, so I have some plans during that time. And so she was like, no problem. I think I'm only going to need you for like 1 week. And then with that 1 week, I was going to get paid for this amount of money through a voucher from her insurance or this and that. I don't know how it works, but all I know is that I'm going to be taking care of her maybe once or twice a week. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, but during this time, I have to have contact with her family. And I was just like, no problem. Like, I will call you or message you, whatever you want. But I prefer text because I am a millennial. But if you want a phone call, like, just excuse the phone anxiety type of thing. And so these women hopefully will be patient with me. And yeah, so yeah, but they were lovely. They really were. Like, they just reminded me of my own like cousins and aunts from Mexico, from my mom's side of the family. And so I felt like, oh, they're very sweet, you know, like they remind me of them. And so it brought up some memories of like Mexico and a lot of my family members from my mom's side of the family, since that's the ones I've been close to other than my own dad's. So So yeah. So, but that was basically my week, even though it's just been 2 days, and I just felt like it's only a Wednesday, you know, like I told from yesterday, I was like, this is only a Wednesday and I'm already worn out. This is crazy. And it's just because of my social battery. I'm not used to like socializing a lot. And if I do, and it's usually with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law and whoever else is like showing up that day whenever we come and visit them. But due to now scheduling conflicts with my husband, like he just recently told me before I recorded this video, was like he's gonna be busy for like the next, I think he said 10 or 13 weeks or something like that, and he's gonna be doing like a lot of hours. And so I felt like, okay, that's gonna give me more time to like accumulate like stuff to craft, to basically be home by myself a lot, and then maybe clean up the house more, do some organizing, and then maybe hopefully decorate for the upcoming holidays, because I just like, as soon as like 4th of July is over, I know there's going to be some other holidays in between of that, because for, you know, for patriotic holidays and stuff like that. But I'm like, I am ready for Halloween, you guys. I am ready. Like, I have been like seeing these ads of Halloween stuff that's already made it already to the stores, especially like Joann's and stuff, and I'm like, great, I'm gonna be traveling like almost every week to certain stores to see if I'll be able to find everything that I need to do something for Halloween, because I have been also seeing a lot of Halloween crafts that these crafters have been doing on Facebook, and I'm just like, I want to make like something like that, or not, like something similar to it, and just change it up a little bit. So yeah, I just cannot wait. So yeah, so like I love Halloween, and hopefully I'll be able to decorate this house fully with Halloween, even though it has just been in my dining room area for years, and I'm just hoping to decorate like the rest of this room. Like, I have been saying for a long time now, like I've been wanting to separate like sections of the walls of like this small room. And I know it's random everywhere, but I wanted to do one like of mushrooms, of one of pumpkins, of Halloween, and like some other stuff, like random stuff where it could be changed in the background a lot, even though right now I have like blue butterflies and it's been up there like since forever. But I was hoping to see if I can change that sometime soon. But for the meantime, I had to go clean up this small room. So yeah, I have to organize some stuff too, because like I have gotten some stuff in the mail too, and I don't remember, but my husband did a little bit of shopping on Amazon for his birthday that's coming up this week, and then he bought me something. And so yeah, I'm like hoping like maybe next week will be a shopping haul video, and then probably show off these huge containers like I have from Costco. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, like hopefully I'll be able to show it on camera, and then maybe if they have it like as a link to online to their website, I'll try to link it and stuff like that. But yeah, so anyway, I think that's basically much it. If I don't do a shopping haul video next week, it's going to be probably, I don't know, probably like a crafting video or something, because I am trying to go back to crafting, but I have been, you know, just writing and stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, I am going to go now. So hopefully you guys have a lovely day and a lovely week, and I'll see you guys next week, hopefully in a better mood, and hopefully recuperating from all this socializing that I have been doing. Hopefully I'll be in a better mood next week. So yeah, so bye everyone.